Kelly Ripa just spilled the details of one of the most unexpectedly hilarious anniversary gifts in Hollywood history. And honestly, it might be the most on-brand thing she has ever done. 30 years of marriage, 3 kids, one iconic morning talk show, and a card that, according to Kelly herself, only certain people are allowed to see. Stick around, because this story is better than you think. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into a story that has the internet smiling, and it involves one of the most enduring, most entertaining couples in the entertainment world. We're talking about Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, 2 people who met on a soap opera set, fell in love in real life, eloped to Las Vegas on a whim, and have somehow turned what everyone predicted would be a Hollywood footnote into one of the most remarkable love stories daytime television has ever produced. Because on May 27th, just weeks after celebrating their 30th wedding anniversary, Kelly sat down on Live with Kelly and Mark and revealed the story of a very unusual anniversary gift she once gave her husband. And it came completely out of nowhere, sparked by a science discussion about dinosaurs, of all things. But that's Kelly. That's exactly who she is. And honestly, that's exactly why 30 years later, this couple is still keeping audiences hooked. Let's get into it. Before we get to the card, and yes, we are absolutely getting to the card, let's set the scene. Because to understand why this moment landed the way it did, you have to understand who Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos really are. These 2 did not have a conventional Hollywood romance. They met in 1995 on the set of All My Children, the beloved daytime soap opera where Mark played Hiram Lodge and Kelly played Haley Vaughn. At first, Mark has admitted he didn't think he had a chance. He once told an interviewer that he thought Kelly was completely out of his league, that she was, in his words, adorable, and that he was too focused on work to even entertain the idea. But work has a funny way of making things happen. And before long, what started as a professional connection became something neither of them had planned for. By May 1996, they had eloped in Las Vegas. Just like that. No big wedding. No months of planning. A spontaneous decision that everyone around them probably thought was reckless. And here's the detail that makes the whole story even better. When they came back from Vegas as husband and wife, they still had 2 separate apartment leases that hadn't expired. So for a stretch of time after their wedding, they were technically living apart during the week and reuniting on weekends. Mark's downtown apartment, Kelly joked on Live, was his country estate on the Lower East Side. It was the most ludicrous start to a marriage, and it worked perfectly. Fast forward nearly 3 decades, and Kelly and Mark are not just a married couple. They are co-hosts of one of America's most watched morning talk shows. Live with Kelly and Mark is a daily ritual for millions of households. Kelly recently made history, tying Oprah Winfrey's record as the longest-running female daytime talk show host. Mark joined her as permanent co-host in 2023, and the dynamic, playful, honest, occasionally chaotic, has been exactly what audiences hoped for. They are, in every sense, a team, on screen and off. So when May 1st, 2026 arrived, it wasn't just any anniversary. It was their 30th, 3 full decades, and they marked it, of course, on Live. The episode was warm, sentimental, and filled with the kind of genuine affection that you simply cannot fake. Mark told the audience, "Today is our 30th wedding anniversary. 30 years. We did it." Kelly immediately fired back with a high five and joked, "A high five? The 30th is the high five anniversary." Mark reflected on how impossible the whole thing once seemed. 2 kids meet on a soap opera. He began, trailing off as if he still couldn't quite believe it. Kelly called their marriage the smartest, best decision I ever made in my life. And then Mark, ever the charmer, said something that made the whole studio laugh. He admitted that just 1 week before he proposed, he wasn't even sure he wanted to get married. He'd broken up with Kelly, then spent the most agonizing week of his life, and proposed the moment he saw her again. "I am dead serious. We have to do this," he told her that night. And Kelly had replied, "Ask me when you're serious." Spoiler, he was serious. But the 30th anniversary story didn't end there. Because a few weeks later, on May 27th, something happened on Live that took that love story and turned it into one of the funniest, most viral celebrity moments of the year. It started with a conversation about dinosaurs. As only Live with Kelly and Mark can manage, the couple had drifted into a discussion about a new scientific study involving the Tyrannosaurus rex. The T-Rex. Enormous. Fearsome. And apparently, the inspiration for one of the most memorable anniversary cards ever purchased in Palm Springs, California. Kelly paused mid-conversation and turned to the audience. "Can I talk about it on the air?" she asked, with that unmistakable glint in her eye. The kind of look that tells you something brilliant, or brilliantly inappropriate, is about to happen. "I'm going to talk about it in a way that is appropriate for television," she added. And then she told the story. For a past anniversary, she didn't specify which one. Kelly had been wandering through a card shop in Palm Springs when she stumbled across something that stopped her in her tracks. It was an anniversary card. It featured two T-Rexes. And it was, in Kelly's description, depicting the dinosaurs engaged in loving one another very much. The card's joke? The female T-Rex says, "Pull my hair." And the male T-Rex responds, "I'm trying." The punchline, of course, is the famously short arms of the T-Rex, physically incapable of completing the request. It is simultaneously absurd, cheeky, and completely hilarious. And Kelly bought it immediately. "I found it in Palm Springs, where all good cards come from," she explained to a laughing studio audience. She turned to Mark and asked him directly on live television in front of millions of viewers, "Was that the best card you've ever received?" Mark, without hesitation, answered, "Yes." And just when the audience thought it couldn't get better, Kelly added one final detail that sent the room over the edge. "You have to see it," she said, "but only certain people can see it." She later quipped that you'd have to be 21 or older to get a proper look. Fans reacted immediately. Entertainment news outlets ran with the story within hours. Social media lit up with people tagging their partners, sharing the clip, and reacting with everything from laughing emojis to declarations that Kelly Ripa is the funniest person on daytime TV. And honestly, that reaction tracks. Because the T-Rex card story isn't just funny in isolation, it's funny because of who it comes from. This is a woman who has spent 30 years proving that she does not take herself too seriously, who built an entire broadcasting career on authenticity, humor, and the willingness to share the real, messy, joyful details of her life with an audience that shows up every single morning. The fact that Kelly Ripa's most memorable anniversary gift is a cheeky dinosaur card from a Palm Springs gift shop, that's not a celebrity story. That's a relatable story. And the internet recognized it immediately. Comments poured in, "This is why I watch every morning. I want to be Kelly Ripa when I grow up." Mark's face when he said yes was everything. But that wasn't the end of the story. Because behind the laughter, there is something genuinely moving about where Kelly and Mark are right now. 2026 has been, in many ways, a year of deep emotion for this family. In March, they experienced the heartbreaking loss of Mark's father, Mark Consuelos, who passed away peacefully after a long illness. Mark eulogized his dad on Live with extraordinary grace, describing a man who immigrated from Mexico as a teenager, served his country in the Navy for 30 years, and earned a master's degree while raising his family. Kelly called Saul the greatest person I've ever known. And then, just weeks later, Mark channeled his grief into his Broadway performance in Fallen Angels, looking up at the stage lights every night and imagining his father watching. The show must go on, and for Mark, it did. So when May 1st arrived and the calendar flipped to 30 years, this anniversary carried more weight than most. It wasn't just a number. It was a marker of everything they had been through together. The soap opera set where it started, the Las Vegas elopement no one saw coming, 3 children, 2 decades of morning television, grief, loss, laughter, and an unwavering partnership that has somehow gotten stronger with every passing year. And in the middle of all of that, Kelly pulled out the story of a dinosaur card. Because that is exactly what Kelly Ripa does. She finds a funny thing. She brings the room back to joy. She reminds everyone watching that love doesn't have to be perfectly curated to be real. It just has to be yours. What Kelly and Mark represent in the broader pop culture landscape is something that's genuinely rare. In an era where celebrity relationships are routinely documented, dissected, and ultimately dismantled in public, these two have quietly done the opposite. They've shown up every morning, argued on air, laughed on air, grieved on air, and somehow made 30 years of marriage look not just possible, but genuinely desirable. Live with Kelly and Mark is more than a talk show at this point. It's a long-running relationship documentary, updated in real time, 5 days a week. The dinosaur card story isn't a departure from that. It's the whole thesis. Here are two people who are still making each other laugh after 3 decades, who still surprise each other, who bought a cheeky card in Palm Springs and made it the greatest anniversary gift they've ever exchanged. That's the blueprint. And every morning, millions of people tune in hoping to catch a little bit of it. 30 years ago, a couple eloped in Las Vegas on an impulse. Their friends probably worried. Their families probably had questions. And the two people at the center of it all just looked at each other and said, "Let's do this." Today, they co-host one of the most watched morning shows in America. They've raised 3 remarkable kids. They've grieved together. They've laughed together. And somewhere along the way, they created a love language that includes Palm Springs card shops, comedic dinosaurs, and a punchline about T-Rex arms that somehow manages to be both ridiculous and deeply romantic at the same time. Because in 30 years of marriage, the greatest gift isn't the grand gesture. It's the card that makes your person laugh until they cry. It's knowing exactly what to give them. It's finding the thing in a random Palm Springs gift shop and thinking, yes, that is exactly him, and I have to bring that home. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos have been giving each other that gift for 30 years. And something tells me they're nowhere near done. So here's my question for you. What do you think is the secret to a 30-year marriage like Kelly and Mark's? Is it the humor? The friendship? The fact that they literally never stop talking to each other, on air and off? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I love reading every single one. And if you enjoyed this celebrity update, subscribe for more entertainment news and Hollywood stories. New content every week. We will see you in the next one.